Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Mina Crichton. Today's date is the 1st of May 2026, almost half a year already. So welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm the narrator of this video clip and all my other video clips on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be going over the evidence in my Court of Appeal. I'll be showing you real life documents. So my court case is actually real life. The courts know that my case is global and it's gone real life because of my situation. So I'm not actually breaking any laws at all. No one can actually sue me because it's a real life case. There are laws in regards to protecting victims like myself, and case because the justice system, it's a malfunction of the justice system, so I'm within my right to do what I'm doing. Sometimes I have to take time to decide what I'm going to put on my channel because of the court case, and just the prolonging of how things are, and the seriousness of my situation is actually very serious. It's life-threatening. However, it's a miracle that I've even made it this far. So today I'll be just going over my Court of Appeal evidence, and then you can all decide with what I'm going through. I've been self-representing myself since the 4th of July 2026. The case is a case of felony and misdemeanor, obviously, and just all this whole middleman linking globally. So globally, I can say yes, there's global breaches, there's people overseas involved in my case, and this actually can be backtracked going back to the protected disclosure. And it's also the reason why we have laws and why it's important for those in public office to know the laws and to do their job to protect vulnerable civilians, obviously, so there's no hostage taking or someone taking over somebody's personal property. So just bear with me. I don't have my mouse, so I have to use my finger to do the walk as we do the video clip. Okay, for those new on board, basically most of the posts are put up on my YouTube channel and on Facebook page. They're from the actual law and me actually interpreting things in plain English for everyone to understand, and you can understand why we even have laws in the first place. Yes, my case is definitely participation in organised criminal group, and the penalty just for that is 10 years 10 years in imprisonment. But like, this is for body corporates and for individuals who participate in organised crime. Yes, and anyone inside internally in government. Like, the laws are actually for everyone. The criminal laws is not just for a specific group of people. It's for everyone. It's for the police. It's for the anyone in public office, is for the judges, is for the court deputy registrar. So if you decide on being a lawyer, I think you should know the laws that makes you accountable if you do acts that links to conspiracy, obviously, because the criminal jurisdiction covers every single act to protect, obviously, integrity of the constitution of any government services, because that's what we want, is a government with integrity, not corruption. So yes, my case is definitely a felony case. It's organised crime. It's linking to the government internally. It's historical. There's evidence of very serious indictable cases, starting just from a privacy breach and unlawful access and breaches, like people leaking information to other people that has nothing to do with my situation. But from my personal experience, they've used me like a product. Okay, so they've used me like a product, and then they do their secret petitions without me knowing. I didn't realize they were doing this, but yes, I believe that's what they're doing. Their petition is for make a decision by the public or whoever wants to stop anything from happening in regards, well, obviously with my court cases. It explains the unlawful judgments where I don't believe the judges are actually doing their own individual decision based on the evidence. But if it has anything to do with the petitions, that explains why their judgments, in my case, are unlawful, because they are false statements according to the Evidence Act. So what you're watching is real. It's my reality. It's my real life in the moment incidents. I'm not dead. Okay, when somebody has been animated, those who are participating in animating a actual real life human being, to them the person is dead. They have no rights or anything, and that's how I've been treated. But it is illegal petitions on individuals for court cases. In saying that, I still have the right to stand against what they've done to me. And the evidence is substantial to prove that the statements are false, and it is a criminal case. So we're dealing with serious violent offences. Okay, and the penalty is 7 years imprisonment. So it's an indictable case. I'm dealing with criminal intent, and also proving that the intimacy is criminal intimacy also is involved, where it's personal. No one should be that glued to someone's soul like everyone has used me for, like an app. It's illegal in any generation. So basically, I'm just telling you guys my real life, in the moment, current situation, and my court cases. So basically, I can prove in the court of law, in the criminal jurisdiction, that I have been oppressed historically. It's not a good situation to be in. You feel trapped. You do everything right, and nothing turns out right. And it affects people's mental health. It's very serious. It's very, very dangerous. I mean, I have felt feelings that I couldn't even put words on it. But it is the reason why people want to commit suicide, because it does affect your mental health. So recently I've been so overwhelmed. I've been down this path many times over and over again, and the struggle to ignore depression and not have wrong thoughts, or allow my mind to linger on the negative, and just dealing with my own mental health and myself in the moment, and how I deal with the situation surrounding my situation at the time. But yes, it's oppression causes that, and it's quite clear that I've been oppressed historically for a very long time. I've been seeing a psychologist for counselling, do with my ACC assessment a while back, and I recall saying to my counsellor, it feels like I'm in this bottle, and every time something good happens, somebody steals it. And that is what oppression does. And you can easily have wrong thoughts at this time when you're struggling against yourself. Basically, that's what it is. This is what you would call a spiritual warfare with yourself at this point in time, warring against yourself, not to give up hope. And I have found God in these most intimate times. Not that I've enjoyed anything intentionally that's happened to me, obviously, but this is what I'd call the dark night of the soul, when you're so oppressed and feel hopeless. But I have found God in these moments, and I have found that He's actually stepped in just when I've needed Him to. Because I know 100% I am definitely the innocent victim. It's just a matter of me proving that legally, because I'm fighting for my liberty. I'm claiming my life back, and I'm undoing all the defamation that has been caused by secret societies illegally without my consent. So basically, we're dealing with my Bill of Rights, the liberty of a person, freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, my freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of movement, freedom from discrimination. You name it, man. What they've done to me is inhumane. Basically, to them, you're a dog or an animal. So it is crimes against humanity if any human being has gone through what I've gone through. You're in oppression, and you've been controlled and manipulated by somebody. I have felt the immediate force at times. It's those times that is dangerous. It's dangerous because one, somebody's completely in control, and they can see what you're doing, and they react if you do something that they don't like, and then they let you know through psychological, mental abuse, indirect stage talking, or acts or objects. They have their ways of allowing their message to you. So this has been going on since 2010, working for my employer. So that's a very long time for someone to be trapped and to have lived by force, exiled, and even going out public. The enemy are in my space. They're in my space, and they've come out when I'm by myself, and I've known straight away. So it has been quite scary at times, the experiences I've gone through, because I know I'm not safe and there's nothing I can do about it. Just try and make the right decisions in the moment. But that's been my journey. Okay, my case breaks. There's a lot of it's an indictable case in the first instance. Okay, basically, I'm showing what a privacy breach can do and accumulate over the year. And that is why we have laws, and why privacy breaches are absolutely serious. And when I realized the government had turned me into a product and then indirectly coded me, and the coding is done in words and numbers and objects and colors, that is a very, 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 very serious indictable case. Because they have actually glued themselves, and then they're twinning and switching. They're using their cars. Even when I go in public, they come out when I'm in public. I just know automatically. So the case is definitely a slave system. Singers are using their song lyric. It's global. I can just listen on the radio, and I can tell straight away, listening to the music, listening to them talk, and I can tell straight away that they're inciting to mutiny globally, and that I'm actually an object. Okay, this is what it looks like. These people, it is a conspiracy, because members, immediate original people in your personal space are all involved. The people behind it, they call themselves agents. But sometimes I've known that they've actually been gang members or people linked to the people in the past who've killed people I know. So that is the category of my case. It's a serious criminal case. Obviously, I won't go on too much about this. It's definitely a relationship scam. Okay, I've already gone over there. I think everybody knows what I'm going up against. But it is definitely they've used me for a relationship scam, and then stealing. They are gradually stealing. That's the intent. And I know that they've used the system to steal everything about me in the past. So they're basically living off my energy. They're watching me, they're listening to me. They've studied me while I was working for my employer under the camera. And then they kicked me out of my occupation. And I lost my job because of the cybercrime. So I was pushed out of my job basically. It was an unfair dismissal. In fact, I'm going to go over the evidence with my lawyer. At that time, I won that case, and I've actually used what my lawyer wrote as part of the evidence for this case. Basically, just proving to the courts that everything that I'm saying is true. I've had a lawyer already investigated into my case, and so I've made submission of that assessment in this situation for Court of Appeal, just to prove a fact that like this is their last time before it goes to criminal, because I know that if this doesn't get resolved in the civil, whether I live or die, it's a criminal case, and it's undeniable. They've got no case. And so today I'll be showing my submission to IPCA. Okay, as you all know, I've been doing my cases since 2016, and it's 2026, 10 years this year. That is ridiculous. It's already been, I've gone through the route so many times. Anyway, I've had so much things happening basically over the years, like just life in general. I've had to move around, just different things, but the interference is internal corruption. Basically can prove they have been used as a product and being micromanaged and controlled by people I don't know. But on the 25th of February 2026, I made an appeal with the Court of Appeal and against Independent Police Conduct Authority. Basically, I was appealing the decision of Judge Gillette and Judge Sussex. Okay. So this here's a confirmation from Court of Appeal that it's been approved. Okay. So the filing of this appeal was accepted for filing date on the 24th of February 2026, and it's still going. Okay, this is my Court of Appeal. All right. Obviously, quite clear I'm fighting for my life. So I'm gonna just scroll this quickly, and then you all can just stop your laptop or computer and read it for yourself. But it's actually really serious that this has gone on for as long as it has. So it tells me that people are using me, obviously. I'm a lockout situation. I can't even believe this. To me, it's disgusting what everyone's done to me. But I think people are doing it deliberately because they all want to steal my ideas for themselves. Obviously, it's because the case is worth $10 million. But this is the petitions they're doing, okay? So basically, I put in the appeal, and obviously, I passed the process. Okay, so basically, I'm asking the judge to cancel Judge Gillette's judgment against myself, because to me, personally, I mean, I can say this and that, but it's fraud. Well, it is fraud because they're not true. I'm telling them the truth. They're writing down my truth. And so this here is, you guys can just stop it and read it for yourself. But as you can see, there's nothing wrong mentally with me. I put in exhibits. The courts refused to even give me service. the court, like over the years when I go to the courts at the High Court and District Court at Waitakere, the courts have refused to give me proper service, or they'll lie to me over the counter, causing me stress. But it's quite clear that they were all working together to block me out from getting legal intervention. So the High Court is also, they did the same thing. The other thing I found out that they were doing, they were setting me up to fail. They were either putting different people in the front counter, people who don't even know, or brand new, or don't know their jobs or the law. So it's a criminal case, it's a criminal tactic. So I can have the Ministry of Justice at the courts for corruption, for trafficking in peoples, where all the staff are all blocking me and locking me out. So this here is my submission to the courts, and it got granted. It's a felony court. Like, I've made submission and alleged that they're trading in influence, and that Karen Ferris abandoned the case. They were playing games like everything is planned and plot to confuse me and to allow them to have something against me. So, but this is what it's like, and when you're fighting against anything legal as a lawyer, everything is a competition. But in saying that, I'm doing this for myself because the case is still pending. The councils, this is serious. I'm hoping that the registrar and who've accepted my case have done the right thing to accept it, because they can just tell that it's a very serious criminal case. It's not something that you just ignore. But it's a lockout situation where everyone is sabotaging it. Like, I can do everything right legally, and they're declining it for no reason. They're just declining it, or they use one law and they concentrate on that to decline an application. It doesn't work like that. The laws doesn't work like that. Like, it depends on the actual situation. If there's hardship, if the person can prove and cover all the laws of hardship and just proving that they're going through whatever it is they're going through at that point of time, they're not allowed to decline it. And obviously here I'm talking about a life and death set of circumstances, about me being misdiagnosed as being pregnant, which is still true. And 1st of April I had an ultrasound. Even that was set up. So there's somebody personally going around, they're doing everything opposite, because they're sabotaging me, and because of the length of time, it's now culpable homicide. And then I had the car crash. So you guys can just stop and read it for yourself. It's a real life case. My case falls under the Evidence Act. There's a legislation on the independent legislation that goes over about people putting their complaints about. So I've done everything right, and accusing them going back to 2010. The Crown has no leg to stand on. In fact, the judgments are false statements. It's classified as false statements under the Evidence Act, because their false statement is not aligned with my reality. Like, I'm saying I am pregnant, and they're creating evidence and doing falsified evidence. So basically they can also be charged with wounding of intent. Okay, so this here's all mine. That's my case. So I'm doing this for intervention. It is definitely working. It's scary because I'm glued. Okay, I'm not joking. I'm glued to the people who are doing the killings. If they're glued to me, they're glued to the originals. It's basically like being glued like a sandwich, and that's the kind of conspiracy I've been subject to. It's been a global, and the inciting, they're making it like a joke, like everything's funny, but it's actually defamation. Okay, so when you're locked out, and the rejection, the blacklisted, basically the even some of their songs and their ads is like there's mockery in it, in reference, like to them it's a mockery, and it comes out in their ads. All that can be used against those people. Okay, if a competent barrister wants to collect evidence in regards to me, all that is evidence in a big criminal case internationally. But it's no joke. They mean what they say. If you're locked out, you're locked out. They don't care. To them, you're dead. So in my case, the Crown can be accused of stealing my intellectual property, obviously. This is going back to Unison Dance Crew. When I legalised it, it was worth a lot of funding money. I tried to close it. So all those people involved in that case are all criminally responsible for their part in participating in organised crime. And if there's any thievery, which there is, I know, with the funding, public funding, that's a criminal case. And basically it's just finding out what happened to the money and who was behind it. But I have found that it's so serious. They're not only stealing, but they're deleting evidence with the intent to cover up or to cause confusion. They've also they use the Mental Health Act on me, so then nobody will believe anything I say. It's all part of a cover up. That's another reason why I didn't give up, because I knew that they used the Mental Health Act on me illegally, and so that's on my profile. So when they do their investigations, they all, interpreting, oh, there's something really wrong with her. Well, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just basically trying to get myself out of the situation. But they have, over the years, studied me, turned me into a product, and then use substitutes, and then they disguise themselves as imposters, as products, or using their names as products, like a branding, but it's actually a real life criminal case, and their intent is to eliminate the originals. Sounds really bad. It is really bad, but that is the reality. All right, guys. So here is, I put this in submission with the Court of Appeal evidence. I decided to put in, because I got derailed from my job, it was an unfair dismissal. So I got a criminal lawyer because I wanted that decision to be changed, because they medically terminated me, like mentally. They're saying that I'm mentally impaired. Okay, that is an insult, what they did, but I knew they did that as a cover up, linking to Unison Dance Crew and people stealing from my bank accounts while I was working for my employer. Okay, so I decided to pay a lawyer, because I knew anything to do with mental health, that's a very serious thing, because I knew without a shadow of doubt that they had used that as a cover up, and things were going to get worse for me. The reason why I haven't stopped proceeding everything legally is because I'm trying to clear my medical records and the defamation, trying to stop, and I have not been able to go forward because they've coded me. Okay, that like the one, it's one thing to be just going to work And then this here is my lawyer. I'm just showing you all that. It's not exhibited, but I have no problems to have that all exhibited because it's the truth. So this here is evidence, proof. An employment law specialist, Catherine Stewart. We took the Ministry of Justice to court. We won this case. But in her report, she talks about everything that I allegedly am accusing all the body corporates and the cybercrime within my workplace. Okay, so this is my evidence, and this is sufficient evidence to indicate that, and proof. I mean, she's a lawyer, and she's just described the cyberbullying, the harassment, and the negligence by my employer with my complaints. They left me in there. No one did anything. Okay, but because I allegedly am claiming that I was poisoned at work, that automatically cancels any judgment or anything, because it's a criminal case, and a criminal barrister will do blood tests and find out, or from my blood tests results, to see if I was poisoned, because I'm claiming they poisoned me while I was working for my employer. Someone was trying to kill me. Okay, but you can just tell by the reports that they were writing going back then that somebody in their mind had made a decision they were going to ruin my reputation linking to the church. They were writing things that had nothing, it wasn't even true, or they've just created and added their own, what their own thought is. And I could just tell when I did my own investigation for my protected disclosure that someone was in my space premeditating my life. Okay, so there's sufficient evidence in my court case. Even all my appeals, I appealed Judge Chalice's judgments, so that is evidence. That's factual evidence. Names of all the court staff that dealt with my case. It's all factual evidence. So this here is Catherine Stewart's report. I put this in for IPCA. So I didn't exhibit it because of my situation, but that's proof of the cybercrime that IPCA and New Zealand Police did nothing either. So according to the law, I'm the vulnerable adult, I'm the victim. Okay, because my case is a left behind case, I am the aggrieved victim. So the case is so different because it's so serious because I'm wounded, okay? I'm being injured, but the abuse, psychological and mental abuse, is intentional to cause a reaction, or to it's a form of abuse. And I have found that with their inciting, the inciting is diminishing. My court case is for real, so people are actually stopping, although some still try, still doing it. But since I've been denouncing the government's videos and everyone's waking up to what they're doing is wrong, they've stopped. So that's a positive thing from going public. However, if my case is to go to the criminal jurisdiction, I can actually charge New Zealand Police and IPCA for wounding with intent because of the criminal negligence. Okay, criminal negligence like mine is over and above serious. It's a clear case of a conspiracy and culpable homicide. also is involved. And there's a law I also found in independent police code of conduct. It talks about how you make submission, or how, when they receive people's complaints, according to the law, they're supposed to make, because I know I've read some of the judgments and they're trying to indicate that they have no obligation to public members to investigate, and that is not true. They have every obligation by law. I mean, they're getting paid taxpayers' money to intervene, to help people protect their property. Okay, so what I'm dealing with is my personal property. It's been damaged, obviously, and then people have used me for other different reasons. Okay, so the update with New Zealand Police, they've put in another submission. The judge was supposed to make a judgment this week, but the IPCA put another submission, which I'm working on, and I've got 5 days to respond. I wasn't going to respond because sometimes when I get their submission, it triggers, I get upset because hey, I'm fighting for my life, and they're just being bullies, but that is how it is in the legal law. They're focusing on all the timeline on my appeal. So basically, hang on, you guys have committed felony already with all your trickery, trading and influence in between. And then now they're trying to oppose the case because they don't want to lose, obviously, but they're breaking the law. Just give me a sec, see if I can find what I'm looking for. I mean, I sent them evidence, even also with the pregnancy. The judges, or whoever is doing my case, has the authority to actually go and look at the MRI scan and the X-ray scans to see if it's true I'm pregnant, because killing an unborn child is 14 years imprisonment. Oh, guys, I'm just trying to find something here. The unfortunate truth is it's all about money to these people. They've taken advantage of someone fighting for their liberty. To them, it's competition. The fact that my case has been going on for so long, I'm not going to give up. Okay, so I am within my right to challenge what they're doing. Oh, by the way, guys, I found me a place. I'm moving. I'm in the process of moving, so that's really good news. I found my own apartment, so I'll be moving this week. So that's a positive thing for myself. So I only mention that because I got the submission from the councils to oppose, because I know that they knew that they had a chance of losing, because the judge was meant to make a decision this week, because that's what I was told by the courts. So what I'm finding with what I'm going through is the judge, it's in the middle. I found my reality is I have found, yes, I've got a case officer for my case, but when I talk to her, she's lovely and everything, but she's not actually making decisions for my case independently. So what I'm saying is the call centers, the hub desk, the people that I'm talking to, somebody at them, they're making decisions based on talking to somebody else. They're not making decisions as an individual. individual decisions or independent decision out of their own discretion. Okay, so that is what I'm finding, and that is the problem I'm having. We're dealing with, they've set up the hub desks, so then the hub desks who are inexperienced, most of them, most of the time, I'm talking to people who have no experience. I mean, I'm a mature person. I don't mean to be mean or anything, but I feel I'm talking to babies. Okay, that's how I feel. I feel so frustrated. I'm mature and everything, and I expect them to know their laws because they should know their laws, and then they talk like just a normal person, but I can tell a person's experience just by the language they use and how they talk. And unfortunately, I have found that even with what the judges have written, they're false statements in my cases, and that is appalling of the Crown. It's a civil jurisdiction, and I recall even at the hearing, I asked the judge that I needed a criminal barrister to take over my case, and they've declined me that right too. But it's quite clear of criminal negligence. So if I don't make it and the baby dies, that's killing of an unborn child. Sometimes I feel the negligence is intentioned to embarrass me, obviously because it's linking to a relationship scam to do with Henry. And then I've got all these other people in between. It's a global game, obviously, trying to sabotage all our plans and break us up. But it's all about money, and I know they're trying to kill me because they're trying to steal my court cases, or no one can now that I've gone public. But obviously it's because the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil, and according to the laws and just common sense, it's blood money. If you take money that is dishonest money, or kill people for their money. So it's a very serious criminal case spiritually and naturally. It is global because of the music. The lyrics in your music, I'm telling you, they're doing all these songs. It sounds wonderful and just like a nice normal song, but the lyrics actually is reference to a human being who's fighting for their life. But it's a tactic to let everyone know of exactly of what I'm doing, my acts or whatever it is. That's how intimate it is. It's really horrible for me, and and sometimes I listen to their lyrics and their ads. It's quite hurtful too because of the intimacy, and I know exactly where they're at. I know where my court case is at because they're inciting indirectly. Okay. Unfortunately, I have to say the police is behind what I've gone through because they've linked themselves also on the relationship scam. It's really, really bad. As soon as they know that there's a change, I had to ring the cops yesterday, just report my phone. I know my phone is being used, and I've had to ring Spark and ask them, does anyone have access to my phone? Because sometimes when I go out, my phone doesn't work, or I can't, or someone is tapping on my phone, so I can't hear the person I'm talking to, or the person that I'm talking to can't speak English properly, and it's really hard to hear what they're saying. So they're ranting and raving about something, but you can't understand. So that's all part of the global conspiracy. So I rang Spark to find out about that this week. I had that problem this week, but it's not the first time I had this problem, going back to 2010 with my phone hacking and just strange noises, just different things happening with my phone. So I'm not behind on my bill or anything, or my phone is quite new. So I made a police report yesterday, but this is part of a conspiracy tactic and being locked out. Okay, it's comes under the acts of tourism. The other thing I have found about the partnership, like for me personally, in my case, they have turned me into a product. Then I have found the conspirators linking, for example, China, or for example, Indian, or for example, other. It's like anyone in my life, they are turning it into like a global commonwealth game. But they're like in partnership and destroying somebody's life. That's a danger of what I'm going through. Okay, and that is what I've picked up of what the government was doing. They've turned me into a product, and then they're actually exalting each other, or kind of making pleas for other states to help with my court case. It's because of my court case they don't want to surrender, even though they're wrong. But unfortunately, in reality, they've created fabricated evidence against myself, and I. But it is culpable manslaughter. There's attempt offences already committed, and it is a conspiracy. And everything they've written about me I can challenge all that, whether it's true or not. They're false statements under the law. So so this is like the most worst conspiracy. It's crimes against humanity because of the intimacy and the damage. Okay, guys, so basically my case is like this. That's a very long time for me being in oppression and fighting for my life. And the offence is going back to 2006 with PSA. Okay. So they have embedded themselves. And I know when I was at church, they did embed themselves. So it's a matter of finding those links in between and who's behind it. But the global game is involved in whoever's being the Judas Iscariot or the spy for the government. Instead of they've coded themselves as imposters by using it in like a global commonwealth game, but the cover up is it's in words, or they're hinting in words, or that's what they're doing, or as a product they're promoting each other, and I can just tell, and it just puts me off. But I can tell, I know straight away who's behind what I'm going through. Even those that have betrayed in the past, people are letting me know. They know who the actual defendants are, or the people that have stolen off me. So I've actually researched the laws, and yes, they can be. It's like a kidnapping, because they're stealing and using me for service, and I'm not getting anything out of it. They're just taking. But that is 14 years imprisonment. So all the body corporates involved and the individuals involved behind the scene can be charged for crimes against personal privacy. And all these here, this is all from the legislation. And yes, it is a taxpayer's money. Okay. So it's public interest. Anything to do with taxpayers' money is public interest. But things are going, even though things are hard, and yes, I get really scared about the changes. But I just feel, I'm going on a new journey right now with my new apartment, and just taking one day at a time. But I'm only human. So yeah, good news is I found me a place, and I've been going through my ACC's been granted, and that's looking really positive. So I'm happy about that too. So in the midst of it, it's been really, really, really tough last month or so with with my mental health, and just struggling with myself not to give up. Okay, that's a very dangerous situation to be in, and that's my situation. I've been locked out. It's so easy to steal somebody's relationship. Yes, it links to all the people linking to Henry Cavill. So obviously, our plans have been sabotaged. He should have been. Our plans shouldn't be where it is today. However, it is, but all that can be part of his criminal case too, in regards to his situation. But we're just going with it. And I mean, with what I've gone through, I have seen so many things I would never have seen, meaning just my situation, spiritually speaking, and realizing why the laws even came about, and just the whole psychological illusion game. But the evidence on my personal property is a criminal case, and all the assessments written about me that caused the defamation is all unlawful, and those responsible can all be charged criminally. I mean, the inciting and the criminal stalking, these people are using their cars, they're using their work occupation jobs for the criminal harassment. The trucks, they're using cars and like their trucks, and they're actually acting out their motive and intent. It is a criminal cybercrime linking to gangs, like literally. The gangs shouldn't even be doing what they're doing. That's for the police to stop anybody from doing what they're doing. And that the old system, they used to be pretty competent about getting onto people being suspiciously doing criminal stalking, but they're glued to the original. So that's why there are times I've gone out in public and I can spot them from a mile. They know, and they like to victimize the victims, letting them know that they're just close by. But it's psychological and emotional blackmail when they do what they do. And I have rung the police over the years to complain about what I'm seeing in my environment. And the most insulting thing is they ask me if I need to go and get assessed for my mental health. But that's all why they use the Mental Health Act. And I'm going to press criminal charges against those people. And with the Ministry of Health, I'm going to continue on with my charges already processed. And yeah, so I will be doing that. My kind of case has the limited laws don't apply because it's a trafficking in persons case with the 20-year penalty. But this here basically talks about the attitude. Everything's done by attitude, emotions, of the alliances. So, yes, I'm blessed with the gifts of discernment. I can tell straight away something good or not good, natural or not natural.